Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, February 10th. It's about 5:45 a.m. on the West Coast, 8:45 on the East Coast, and let's look at some pre-market action. So the marijuana stocks are all just still blazing hot. Almost all of them gapped up last night into after hours, and then are still on their way up this morning. So got some incredible strength in the sector. So we'll start here with Aphria APHA. You see stair stepping up since November, President Biden's inauguration, or the election, excuse me, and then inauguration over in here, the 20th, got some sideways action, and then as soon as they talked about making federal legalization a big part of this yearly cycle, it's taken off. And so we're gapped up into 30 on a Aphria right now. So from 24 up to 30, that's another $6. That's a 25% move off yesterday. And I mean, this thing's getting vertical. RSI is getting high, up at 88. So could see some profit taking sometime soon. But look at the last 2 days. Um, push in the morning, some consolidation in the afternoon, and these are plays I need to get better at, especially with this afternoon dip here down at 12:30. Maybe put in a little long to catch some of this move, because there's just big moves in the aftermarket. But as I say, like with the daily, I mean, it could be anybody's guess that this thing goes with continued strength. But to test that theory, I should start playing a small size here, a couple hundred shares to catch some of this move in the after hours. So absolutely rips after hours yesterday, and as you can see, we're still higher today. And it looks like we're going to use this 5-minute 50 moving average right now, so this is as support as we move towards 6 o'clock, where Robinhood buyers can step in, see if they're going to hop on the marijuana stock bandwagon right here. So we'll go to Tilray, TLRY. They have probably the most strength right now in sector, right? So yesterday closed at 42.35. Now we're at 54.4. Chart's very similar to ACHB, or excuse me, APHA and ACB. We'll go to ACB next. Go to the daily, almost an identical looking chart. So big candle, we're getting vertical here at the end. RSI up here, still 89. So it's very similar to APHA. So we'll see if any profit taking happens today. Tilray wasn't available to short yesterday at Interactive Brokers, but APHA and ACB were. So those will probably be my two main focuses, especially for downside. But if they keep ripping up, either whatever you prefer, price point, target share, how you like to do your risk reward, they all could be great setups for you. So we'll go to ACB now. ACB had some more weakness yesterday afternoon, right? We didn't get that flat consolidation like the others did. Got the sell off at 11, but similar 12:30 bounce, and then held the 200 after hours. And then we've been cranking up here. This is up 20% right now, even showing even a little bit more strength here pre-market than the other two. So we'll see how this reacts. And ACB does have earnings tomorrow after market close. Last week curled into this 200. The 9 crosses it, getting vertical up here. So we're at 18.5 right now. So see if we can get to this resistance zone around $19. That'd be the target for today. And then lastly, we'll look at CGC, which did have their earnings yesterday. High volume bar, high RSI up in the 50s. Now it's up into around 55. Its chart hasn't been as similar as the others, but as you see, the high point came yesterday after hours. Now we're kind of in between the close and that high, but still on top of the moving averages, looking to go higher this morning. They also had, I think, a subsidiary, or like a smaller company. I mean, it's called Canopy Rivers. I think it's just another part of their business. They reported earnings this morning, but they got price target increases from just about everybody. One of them had them up to 55 Canadian. So the marijuana industry is hot right now, and then other reports, if you read different analysts, they expect the whole sector to grow by about 80% this year. So, I mean, these things could keep going for a long time. Okay, so next, we got a couple bio plays. First, we'll go to PACB, Pacific Bioscience. So we'll go to the daily first. Absolute tear in the last year, $2 up to 41. So about 20 times your money. This was a pretty big hot stock when it originally started taking off because ARK Investments and Kathy Wood had been investing in them. But if you look recently, now TD Ameritrade, basically they're all over ARK Investments. So every time they sell, you know, you'll get a news blip from TD Ameritrade. And as you can see, like ARK Investments since the middle of end of January, probably this big dip right down in here, they've been selling. But SoftBank, you know, they were big. Also, Tesla investor. They had some huge calls on Tesla last December. They basically give them a $900 million investment in the form of expendable debt or credit, convertible debt. So they'll eventually get shares out of this. And this is sent the stock higher, right? So closed 39.54 yesterday. Let's just see if we can get to all-time highs. Yep, so this is new all-time highs, right? It was last month 41.65. We're above that today. All right, so we popped all the way up. We're at 49.88. Now kind of pulling back, moving underneath the moving averages here. We'll go to 5 minutes, just stay regular like the others. Maybe we'll hold this 52 area. We do have some support right here at 47.5. So we'll look to see if it can hold that and continue moving higher on strength. I think this is it's pretty thinly traded stock on the daily. Let's see what they were yesterday. Just, you know, almost 3 million shares. The high bar back here is 20 million shares, so kind of thinly traded, but at a high enough price where you can still get a good chunk of shares to trade. And then I haven't talked about this one this past week, but Cassava Sciences is back. I guess I did talk about them on Monday, but so they bounced off the 9 moving average and got up back around 60, sat in here, and they did an offering this morning. So you notice the big drop right here. I mentioned in one video I didn't think they would do an offering because of the cash that they had on hand, and they weren't going through an incredible burn rate on it. So I was surprised to see this offering. So they offered, I think they got 200 million shares from the share, or excuse me, $200 million from the shares they offered. So they offered 4.1 million shares at $49. So if you go back to the daily, that $49 is basically the moving average right here, 48.94. It's pretty typical. I think there are rules about you can't do an offering price at like a current price. It has to be like a rolling 10-day average or something like that. So they raised, you know, $200 million. I read an article this morning that Alzheimer's research and the drug testing and everything that goes into it costs about 8 times the amount of, you know, doing the same thing for cancer drugs. So it is incredibly expensive, more expensive than I was considering, and for the cash that they had on hand, because they only had $25 million on hand. So now they'll have 10 times that almost total, or 9 times that total. So they put out their milestones earlier in the week, so they're going to be aggressive. They're going to go all in and hopefully get their drug through phase 3 and out to Alzheimer's patients. But so as you can see, they priced it at 49, came down, touched 49, and now we're back up. So it looks like people liked this offering price. So we'll look to see if this can get some momentum to go back higher. And then we're not going to show Bitcoin chart today. It's kind of muted. You know, it didn't set a new all-time high for 3 days in a row. So everybody's kind of selling off. But this here, OLG Group, they're going to accept cryptocurrency payments on their e-commerce platform. So, you know, relatively new stock since August. Stayed pretty low, stair-stepping higher, starting to take off here recently, and then essentially doubled on the news from today. You know, 7.45 up to 15.2 now in the 14s, and looks like we're hugging this 14-day or $14 area, 9 moving average right here in the 5 minutes. And as you can see, the volume this morning is abnormally high. It's going to be, you know, a record for its volume in a day probably. Yeah, because the previous high is only 2 million. So this is going to be an area or a time when the chart really doesn't matter previously, because the volume today is going to overtake everything. So this could be a big runner, or this could sell off pretty hard. So we'll have to see how it reacts on the open. Those are stocks I'm looking at this morning. Let me know what you're looking at. If you got any questions on anything, I hope you're getting something out of these. And if you could, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good things, and we'll see you in the next one.